All right, all right, all right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Welcome to our Inner Circle Live pre-New session. I'm your host, Ryan Carthage. We'll be joined shortly by my awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen. One second, everybody. I'm getting another echo. Real quick, drop me one in the chat if you hear me okay. Do you hear an echo at all? All right, cool deal. Not anymore. All right, cool. I understand what I have to do. Cool. So as always, let's turn off all distractions, grab a pen and paper for notes, and let's make sure that we participate and engage. We will take a look at the fundamentals. Got some things starting to change in the Eurozone. So we'll take a look at the Eurozone. Then we will dive into the charts. Let's hop over to trading economics and take a look at things there, and then we'll dive in. So go there, boom. All right, so Eurozone business activity falls most in almost 3 years. HBOC Eurozone composite PMI dropped to 47 in August, which is well below market expectation of 48.5. A preliminary estimate showed the latest reading pointed to the steepest pace of contraction in the region's private sector since November 2020. With a deepening downturn in manufacturing output being accompanied by renewed contraction in services activity. So things are starting to shift in the Eurozone, right? Starting to shift in the Eurozone. So we got to keep an eye there to, we might start to see a shift in narrative, right? Coming out of the ECB and potentially even the UK. We got UK private sector. UK PMI dropped to 47.9 in August from 50.8 in July, falling below the market consensus of 50.3. A preliminary estimate also showed the latest reading pointed to the deepest pace of contraction in the country's private sector since January 2021, as services sector output contracted at the joint fastest pace in 31 months. And the manufacturing output downturn accelerated, extending the current period of decline to 6 months. Inflow of new business declined to the most since November 2022, and backlogs of work dropped at the fastest pace since June 2020. Meanwhile, private sector employment rose only slightly at the slowest pace since March. On the price front, average cost burdens increased at its slowest pace since February 2021, and the inflation prices charged moderated to its lowest level in 2.5 years. Yes, JC, I am. It's being put on, going over to YouTube, so we should have a good recording of this session. Finally, business confidence regarding year ahead growth prospects slipped to its weakest since December 2022. So, what does this mean? What does this mean? Things are starting to change, right? Things are starting to shift. So we got back and forth data happening. We still have high inflation. However, the data that they're watching is starting to change. So we want to keep an eye on all of this to see what happens going forward. We could still see interest rate increases, but we could also start to hear the narrative shift. To data dependent, or future forecasts could change, right? So we want to keep an eye on that as we move through the next couple months. German output contraction deepest in over 3 years, right? Falling in line with this Eurozone business activity. So that's the narrative ahead, right? And what does that signal for the charts? We'll dive into them and take a look in a second. But Reese has been spot on, right? The euro dollar is falling. So we'll take a look. Today, right? We got a lot of PMI data coming in. Let me refresh this here. Right, here's that euro PMI data that we just discussed. And the pound PMI data, we got retail sales for Canada coming in later today. Fresh PMI flash PMI for the dollar coming in at 945. Consumer confidence, new home sales at 10, crude oil inventories at 10:30, right? So pretty busy day. Could give us some insight and some movement in the markets there. And then tomorrow we got unemployment claims, durable goods, FOMC member speaking, and the Jackson Hole Symposium kicking off. All right, so got some things happening in the market today and tomorrow, so we will keep an eye there. Any questions on the fundamentals, or do you guys have anything that caught your eye? No? No? All right, cool deal. Let me do one thing here. All right. Cool. So let's hop over to the dollar. See where she's at. Dollar index, 4 hour. We're pressing toward that 4 hour de-extension in that daily resistance level that we've been watching, right? Prices pushing strong in that direction. And we definitely could hit that as we move into the next couple of days, right? So it'll be interesting to see if this level holds, right? Does this level hold as resistance, tap that 4 hour de-extension, and then do we see something happen from there, or do we just continue to fly through, right? So definitely want to watch that level to see what transpires there. See if we do get this retracement that I've been looking for, or do we just continue to fly to the upside, right? We shall see. We shall see, right? Well, this Jackson Hole Symposium could give us some really, really good insight on what the future looks like. So that's where we are on the dollar. Let's take a look at the euro dollar. Right? Broke that daily level, broke that daily support level here, and we're falling, right? Reese was spot on in being short on the euro dollar. Didn't quite get the high price that we're looking for, but it's falling to the downside nonetheless. Coming into the 4 hour time frame, right? 4 hour was still inside the AB boundary, but these levels are getting broken. Actually, let me go back to the daily real quick. I'm going to shift that resistance level. Nope, I'm going to take it out. Not resistance yet, so we're going to remove that. I'm going to keep the support level in here, just as we might get a break and retest on the lower time frame. All right, so keep that support level there, like so, but pressing down, right? So coming into a 618 retracement on the 4 hour, and then we'll see how things transpire. So now, when we get down to the 1 hour, we'll see the 1 hour fib got taken out. So now we're looking at the 4 hour fib. Do we stay inside this AB boundary, right? Or does this just continue to fall? Reese, you said your target is 107. We definitely are headed there, right? So let's see how far it falls, right? Right now we're bearish, right? So 107.30. So when we talk about trading plan, right, and you guys hear me talk about if-then statements and reassessing it to see if the bias changed, right? And this daily support level was my level to then determine if my bias will change, right? So we come down to the 1 hour, that daily support level got broken, and on the 1 hour, it took out our A. So now time for me to reassess, right? Stop got taken out, right? That's a trade that did not go my way, which is cool, right? So now I reassess, right? And now we're short. Okay. Yep, we still have that 4 hour AB boundary. Excuse me. A little under the weather this morning, but we still got that 4 hour AB boundary, right? The larger move, but we're pushing down. Okay. So as we make these lower highs and lower lows, now we're looking at what happens as we push deeper. So we got the 1 hour D extension at 107.573, which is just shy of Reese's target of 107.30, right? So we look to see what happens when we get to these lower levels. Do we get a reversal? Do we get an 80-20 opportunity to get a retracement to then potentially get a high price to then get short, right? So we're going to watch this to see, okay? See how deep this pushes and see what opportunities we get. So we're moving south right now, and the data's falling in line with the euro weakness. All right, so that's where we are there on the euro dollar. Questions here? Nope. All right, cool deal. All right. So that's the euro dollar. Let's that Aussie Swiss that we took a look at, we're still lingering, but trying to get some change to happen, right? So we're in that 118, 127 zone on the daily time frame, and we're trying to get a push, but still pressing sideways. All right, coming down to the 4, and we press sideways through that trend line, right? Tried to break it, but it's just been choppy and pressing sideways. So we'll remove that trend line out, and we're watching this trend line here now, right? Still in that 118, 127 zone on the 4 hour off that 80-20, but pressing sideways. All right, we dropped the cloud on, get some additional confirmation there, and we're pressing up against the cloud. Still haven't gotten a break of the cloud yet on the 4. All right, coming down to our 1. On the 1 hour, we had the AB boundary. We did get a break of the cloud, and we're pulling back now. Okay, so if you're not in this one, still got some time. Still be a little patient, right? If your confirmations are on the 1 hour time frame, you got that cloud break, and now you're looking for that continued move. We're pulling back now, see if we retest the cloud and get that opportunity to push to the upside, right? But looking for this at some point to continue moving north. All right, so that's the Aussie Swiss, just an update there. Want to go through. Let's go through all of our pound pairs today just to see where they are as a whole. So pound Aussie, we took a look at this one last night. But from a weekly time frame perspective, hit the weekly extension, strong push to the upside. Pound has been bullish overall with high inflation, expecting interest rate increases, but we're starting to see that data shift, right? So we're getting a pullback now, right? So could this pullback come back and just retest this weekly support at 193,998? Coming here to the daily, on the daily, which is interesting, it's been interesting for a while, is we haven't gotten to this 382, right? So it'll be interesting to see because we're in this 118, 127 zone, this 80-20 scenario. It'll be interesting to see it once we get back to this 193 level. Do we get a break of this and a continuation short, right? So does that data continue to shift, which then could that cause a change in narrative out of the UK, right? So I'll be watching this as we get closer to this range here to see if we're able to push through this, right? And I'm using this range because we got this level of lower time frame resistance here, right? So this is the range. Are we able to push through that and break back below this weekly resistance level, right? If we do, then obviously we're looking at more short opportunities ahead, right? If we get some action like this. Right? Then look for continued short. Okay. And then we could say, okay, this 80-20 scenario could be likely to then play out, right? And continue to the downside. Shift that down to where it should be. Boom. Actually, no, this there. So that's what I'm looking at here. So as we continue to press lower, do we get continued short opportunity? So I'll be watching that as we get closer to that level. Coming down to the 4 on the 4 hour, here's your 80-20 scenario, right? Weekly level is in line with that B boundary, right? But your 382 is here at 190. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at to see is do we and are we able to get to at least this 190 level, right? But a lot of things have to change in order for that to occur, right? A lot of things have to change. So watching that closely as we get closer to see how this transpires. This was a trade set up here. If you're not in this, that is okay. Wait for a pullback to get you a high price to then get short, right? Don't just jump in because it's moving. But I can move this down now. Just adjusting my stop on my original play. But wait for a lower time frame pullback, right? Just so you have the best opportunity and price meet your rules here. There we go. Like so, right? So, boom. So we're falling, right? We're falling. So let's see if we get a pullback on a lower time frame. Give us an opportunity for those that aren't in this to enter this to then be short, right? At least down to that 190 level. All right, so that's the 80-20 scenario on the 4 hour that I'm playing this off of. Come down to the 1. You had a fresh AB boundary. No, I'm sorry. You had an 80-20 on the 1 hour as well, right? 80-20 on the 1 hour as well, and we're falling. So that weekly level comes in line with the 1 hour 382, right? But again, do the higher time frames take control here, and do we get a narrative shift as we get closer to this level, which could then accelerate that move to the downside, right? So here on the one, when I was talking about waiting on that pullback, right? Just sit tight. Boom. Right? We're just now hitting the D extension here. So wait for fresh AB boundary to come in. Whenever that swing low forms, wait for your high price, and then take your entry there. Right? And that'll give you a good opportunity on that move to the downside, good risk to reward scenario. All right. If you drop the cloud on, let's see what that looks like. Boom, right? We got the cloud break there, and we're pushing south. Okay, so wait for a high price if you're not in this to get short. If you're in it to get short, just continue to manage your trade. All right. So that's where we are on the pound Aussie. Any questions here? All right, cool deal. Going over to pound CAD. The pound CAD is coming back down, right? Coming back down. So another one that'll be interesting to see, right? So weekly, we didn't push into that 118 and 127 zone, but we have a shallow retracement. We pushed against that weekly resistance, came back to test that weekly resistance, and now we're pushing back down, right? So do we not get to our target here? Do we move further south? Coming down to the daily, here on the daily, we got to that 382 level, right? But we're stalling out here, okay? So we got a daily support level here that we've been just hovered at for a while, and then we push to the upside. So does this level hold is the question, right? So we got a lot happening. We got to see what's happening in Canada to see if any of these levels will be able to hold, and we get a shift back to the upside with weakness in the Canadian dollar, right? So got a lot to look at there, but this price is coming back down to the downside. What I need to do here, I haven't shifted that, so I'm going to move this in profit here. We'll take a look at it on the 1 hour time frame also, but move that in profit there. But price moving to the downside there. Okay, coming down to the 4. This was the move. We got a 618 retracement. This is a push to the upside, and we're pulling back pretty strong, right? Testing previous resistance here. So we got a little bit of a range to watch, right? That's the resistance there. So we'll box this out. Let's do this. Boom. What happens in this range? Right, and actually I'm going to move this to break even there. I'm going to move that there. If we break the support level, then it takes me out, right? But if the support level holds, right, if we stay in this range, just pull back and then turn over and push back to the upside, then we'll continue looking for a price to get to our target, right? I've got some work to do. This will be an interesting one to continue to watch. It's been a long drawn out move, right? We did have a lot of upside here, so the retracement does make sense, right? But we want to see what happens, and is there a fundamental catalyst that causes this to continue to ride to the downside, right? That'll be the question. So that's the pound CAD there. Coming down to the 1. Let's see, right? Retracement phase on the 1. Okay, so I'm going to bring these daily levels down. There we go. All right, so on the 1, here's your retracement, right? You wicked the 382 there, stalled in the 118, 127 zone, and we get a push to the downside. So on the 1, do we take out that AB boundary? Again, how deep does this retracement come is just the question, right? How deep does it come? And then do we get price to turnover? So it's retracing right now. Let's see if we get a low price to then be able to get back long to the upside. Okay, that one's interesting. I'll continue to watch that to see. Holding my position though. Questions on the pound CAD?
No.
Oh, all right. Cool deal. There's your sub fib to the downside, D extension hit there. So let's see what happens here. I'm curious on this one. Curious. We'll watch that close. Pound yen falling. Pound yen is falling, right? Told you guys been trying to be patient here. We came just shy of the zone that I wanted price to put into, but we turned back over and we're breaking back below this daily support level, right? So if we close below this level, I'm leaning toward this one continuing south. Leaning toward it continuing south. So definitely going to be watching that closely. We got some 80-20s on other time frames, but this one has been interesting because of what's not happening in Japan, right? So this is all, fundamental base when it comes to the pound, and this could just be a retracement. So I'm going to watch it closely to see what happens. But some of these yen crosses, I'm starting to build positions, right? Starting to build positions to be able to, have something move into the downside when the time is right. Give me 1 second, everybody. All right, cool deal. Just wanted to make sure sound was good in the recording. So press to the downside there on the daily. Coming here to the 4, boom. Right. We wicked the 382 there in that 118, 127 zone. And this is what it looked like against the cloud, right? Trying to get close to a Kumo twist here, right? Strong break of that daily support level on the 4. Okay. So definitely eyeing this one up. On my other account, I started to build in a position on this. And I might, like I said, I'm waiting to see how this finishes here. And I'm start to build in a position on this one as well. But I'm waiting for, on this one, a break of the cloud, right? Cloud break. And obviously that break of that daily support gives me additional confirmation. But want to see this action here. Like that, right? We get that, and if that level holds, then I'll look for that opportunity short there. So pushing to the downside, let's see if we get that cloud break in a retest of the cloud there on the 4. On our 1, right, we talked about this yesterday. Do we get price to hold at this level and bounce to the upside? That didn't happen. It didn't happen. We broke that level on the 1. So that is gone. Now I'm, like I said, I'm looking for a pullback and potential continuation. So boom, that's the break of the cloud on the 1. Right. So look for a pullback at some point. Looks like this A is going to get taken out, and then we'll flip the fib to the downside. Okay. That's the pound yen, right? That's a strong bearish move, right? That's pretty convincing. So especially if we take that A out, right, then we're looking short. We'll just look for a high price and then get short. Okay. Questions on the pound yen? Eloy, that I'll drop that training. I'll drop that link in the Discord for you. Double top. You talking about right here, JC? Here and here. Yeah, it's pretty close. That's pretty, yeah. Good eye there. Right. I would consider that a double top, yes. Yep. Yep. Good eye. Did not even pay attention to that. But absolutely, right? Double top opportunity, boom, push to the downside. So we're short. We're short. So let's see, like I said, let's wait for a pullback and then see if we get opportunity for a continuation there. Okay. No questions. All right, cool deal. Let's give me 1 second. All right. Cool deal. Eloy, there's a link on the Ichimoku cloud right there for you. So that's the pound yen. Let's take a look at the pound dollar. Short, right? Still in this range on the daily, okay? But again, we're at the 618 retracement already, right? High in the zone. We didn't get to that sub 50 extension there, but we also haven't gotten to the 382 on that sub fib either, right? We're pushing down, got daily resistance here. We got daily support here, right? So this will be a combination of the dollar and the pound, but we're pushing back down to the bottom of this. What can I click that? Pushing back down to the bottom of the range, right? So are we able to break this and hold to continue short, right? So down to the bottom of the range here, coming to the 4, right? You see that range a little bit more clearly here, okay? Drop this daily resistance down. Boom. Right? So do the fundamentals cause this level to get broken? Okay. Do the fundamentals cause this level to get broken? So that's what we're watching there. We break that, we could be headed for a deeper move, right? So here on the 4, here's your 80-20 scenario, right? And price pushing to the downside. Okay. Price pushing to the downside. So let's watch and see what happens here. See if we break that and continue down. Okay. Coming here to the 1. Still in the 118, 127 zone on the 1 hour. So if this level holds, right, we could be in for a pushback to the upside. But right now we're just stuck in this range, right? Adjust the trend line to the outermost point like so, right? That idea didn't go. We'll clean that up, right? But we're at the bottom of the range. So let's see if this level holds and if we get a pushback to the top of the range, right? On your larger fib, it's an 8-6 retracement. All right. And it's the 3rd touch at that daily support level. So be interesting to see what happens there as we move forward. All right. What happens with the dollar and what happens with the pound as we move through the rest of the week. Okay. So that's what we're looking at here. I know this looks a bit back and forth, but there's our capital fib there, right? Our larger move. And it's just a question of, do we stay inside the AB boundary or not, right? Sub fibs to give us some additional confirmation. Adding an additional layer here. Looks like that. We got an 80-20 on the sub fib in line with that 8-6 retracement, right? So that's how I got to, does this level hold, and do we get a pushback to the upside at some point? Okay. Just for those that might be a little cloudy for you. Okay. Questions on the pound dollar? No. All right. Cool deal. Benny, good morning, bro.
Good morning, Ryan. Good morning, everybody. How are you, Ryan?
I'm doing well, my man. How are you?
Oh man, busy already. It's crazy. It's too early to be busy.
Man,
What
I believe it, dog.
what in the world? Yeah. Other than that, man, it's a great day though. Always glad to be alive, man.
Yes,
You know.
sir.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what happens with these earnings today with Nvidia.
Yeah, yeah,
See,
definitely
see
interested
what,
there.
yeah, because everybody seems to be anticipating those numbers. Uh, So I'm looking to see a reaction. I don't know what time those are supposed to be released though.
I don't
Um,
either. I have to look that up.
yeah. So it's oh after the market closes. Hmm. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Just need something to get the market going either way, really.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, right now we got the pounds pushing south. Uh, data came
Mm-hmm.
in below expectation. Euro also pushing south.
Yep. Yep.
Uh,
Prices are correct, and those have been rallying for quite some time. So
yep,
yeah.
yep, yep. Anything else catch your eye this morning? Fundamentally, I know
No,
you've been.
nothing really besides I did see what you were saying with the what's going on with the eurozone with the business activity falling a pound. So, but we were right in line with some of those. Like I know I had originally a Euro Aussie play that missed, but now it seems to be making the corrections. Sometimes
Mhm.
the timing is just off, and then same thing with the pound, right? That pound, was it that
That
pound
pound,
Aussie
pound
was
Aussie.
coming
Yep.
down pretty good, right? Yeah, it's selling out. So you make up for it. So that I'm glad to see that happening finally, because that was expected. Didn't know what the catalyst would be, but it seems like we're getting good movement out of those pairs today. So we'll see how the rest of the day plays out.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Give me 1 second, everybody. 1 second. All right, cool
Always
deal.
glad to be alive, man.
Cool deal. So that's the pound dollar. Let's hop over to the other pound pairs. Investors expect big move from Nvidia. I appreciate you sharing that, Reese. Bigger article to check out. Um, pound Swiss, right? Here's the 1 hour look, but pushing to that 618 retracement zone, and we're pushing back down to the downside. That's on the one. We'll clean this up and walk through it. Boom. Back to the daily. All right. So overall, we've been in a range on this one, right? And we talked about over the weekend how not much really doing because literally it's just moving sideways. So we're hovering at the bottom of this range, tried to push up, came back down, right? So even closer, we adjust this level there. And we have this daily resistance level here. Boom, right? Top of the range and moving back down to the bottom of that range, right? So dropping down to the 4 on this one. See that range a little more closely here, right? Top, and we're moving back down to the bottom. Okay. So not a ton there. But when you look at it, right, coming down to your 1 hour time frame, you run that fib off the high. And there you have that scenario. So we'll see if we're able to push down and get to the matching D extension at some point, but we could just continue to stay trapped in this range, which makes sense for this pair historically. Right, so we're pressing down to the downside there. Not a ton happening there, okay? Not a ton there. And then this is one that I have not looked at a lot, but pound NZD. Ooh, I missed this opportunity there. 80-20 moving back down to the downside on the 1. Let's walk back. So daily time frame. Clean this up real quick. All right, so daily time frame, larger fib, 618 retracement. D extension was achieved on the push up. We got a daily resistance level that formed here. Boom. Right now we're pulling back. Okay. Once this daily candle closes, we'll have a fresh AB boundary on the daily. That'll be like that. Okay. That'll be like that. And this was a weekly resistance level that we broke through. Look for a retest and see what happens, right? See if this continues to fall to the downside. If we get kind of a boost on the stock side of things, we'll see. But pressing down to the downside here. So we'll see what happens at this previous resistance level, see if this level holds, right? You also got a daily support level. Was a daily resistance level here that could also give us a strong range, a strong zone here for price to hold and then potentially push back to the upside. So we'll watch to see what happens there. Coming down to the 4. I'll pull that daily fib out. And on the 4, you also had an 80-20 scenario. Man, I missed this. Right? Shallow retracement, 118, 127. Form that high, and we're pressing down. Okay? Pressing down to the downside. So 80-20 scenario, that one's playing out beautifully. Did anybody catch this one? I did not.
I had it marked up. Didn't completely missed it. Went right over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had it marked up, but didn't get to pull the trigger on that one.
Cool.
But we had marked it up because it if you had a pound Aussie in the same position, pound New Zealand, same position. So but yeah, didn't so look for the correction, right?
Exactly. That's what I was going to say when we get down to the 1.
And the move back down. Look for the correction and the move back down on that. But let's move quite a ways, just like the pound Aussie did.
Let's see. Definitely move quite a ways. Just dropping the fib in here. Trying to catch this low there. There we go. All right. So there's a look on the 1. There we go. So on your 1, here's the look, right? Moving down, Beautiful move to the downside. 300 pips already to the downside. So let's look and see if we get a pullback on this and then get an opportunity to get back short. Hit a sub 50 extension here. Let's see if we get a high price. High price and then look for the opportunity to get short from where price is right now, right, to that weekly level. That's another 250 pips. So we get a high price on that, right? That'll give us a good opportunity, 340 pips to the downside on this pound Aussie, at least to that level. Higher time frame could take us even further. So wait for a pullback and see if we get that entry opportunity, okay? But that's been a beautiful move so far, right? Entry somewhere in this range here. Somewhere in that range. If price pushes back here, and look for the opportunity short. Okay. Questions on the pound New Zealand?
Sometimes you miss them or you may not circle back to them because of everything that's going on fundamentally. But that zone just continues to play out, regardless. Like,
man,
market shifted, risk off. Everything's going on with China. Aussie's taking a beating. New Zealand takes a beating. All of a sudden, we reach that zone. Then you get data that comes out on the pound in the Eurozone, and it causes that to collapse for 300 pips. So it's like, just when it gets to those technical levels, just make the play.
Just make the play, right? Just make the play. Just make the play. And just looking at it, right? Price has been moving to the upside for a long time, right? And in a strong fashion. So retracement makes sense, right? And right, that zone comes in handy every single time. Every single time. So that's the pound New Zealand. Enjoy. That's funny. So those are the pounds, right? Those are the pounds. Take a look at oil real quick.
Hey Ryan, I did have a question about
Yeah.
fibs in general.
Yeah.
So I'm still struggling with mine, and I know sometimes like we can use those sub fibs on those legs. Is there I guess some guidelines that kind of help me know when it's okay to use them? Because sometimes when I use them, I end up kind of on the wrong side of things.
Yeah.
So is there like when is a good time to drop them, and when am I, like, I don't know, off, I guess? When do I know I'm off besides a losing trade?
Yep. So I'll use them in scenarios where price hasn't gotten to the 382. Right? If price gets to that 382 level, I'm sitting and waiting. But here's an example where we're in this 80-20 scenario. Price is pushing to the downside. Fundamentally, things are also pointing to a retracement in price, and price has not gotten to this 382 level, right? So this is a scenario where I would use this looking for a price to pull back and run these sub fibs to the downside, right? So that's how I look at it and I gauge it. Is price moving in the direction, and are things lining up for price to continue moving in that direction? And if so, then I look for a pullback in either first time entry on it or adding to that trade in that direction. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and sometimes I feel like I'm doing it, but then I like have to go back and see, oh, like, I don't know, I'm off in some capacity, so I don't know.
In those scenarios, has price gotten to that 382 level?
I can't remember.
So that's what I would monitor, right? And take a look at, is because we know this 382 level is a strong zone, right? So if it is below that level, leave it alone and just wait for a low price to potentially get back long. Or if you believe the bias is changing, the direction is shifting fully, then we'll look at shifts to occur. And if you're down on like the 1 hour time frame, right? On the 1 hour time frame, waiting for the A to get taken out, to see if the bias has if the direction has shifted on that lower time frame, right? And then look for the retracement opportunities, right? So I'll take a look at those two things. Has price gotten to the 382, right? If so, just allow price to continue to do what's going to do, right?
So it wouldn't be beneficial to try to track them down to like the 618 because that could be kind of like a moving C, or like we don't know when it'll stop, I guess.
You can, but in my opinion, you put yourself in a position where you could be more likely to have price just completely reverse. Yes, price does push down to that zone a lot, but it can get sticky because we know price can also reverse at these other levels, right? So we can safely get to that 382 on these 80-20 retracement scenarios. And then after that, right, just like when we talk about managing the trade and taking profit on the trade, right? I take some profit off at the 382, right? Or you hear Benny talk about taking profit off at the 382 and leaving a runner in, right? And Joy does that a lot as well, right? But you're moving that stop loss in profit at that point because price can reverse on you, right?
Okay.
So similar thought process for me in that is that if price has already gotten to that 382, I'm just going to sit back and wait for that deep retracement. I'm not going to try to catch those smaller waves unless you're dropping down to like your 15-minute, your 5-minute, and you're playing those really smaller moves. Then you can look at it a little bit differently potentially. But even still, for me, if price has gotten to that 382 level, I'm hands off until I get a low price if my bias is long, and a high price if my bias is short.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Ben, you got thoughts on that?
No, I think it's spot on with that. I think it's spot on with that. And just holding to that first target, like you said, then when you get to that point, deciding whether you want to take, 3/4 of the position off, half the position off, let the rest run to the next target. I know back in the day I used to split the order up, you know what I mean, into two positions, and that 80-20 zone, let one run the target one and the other will try to get the target two. So there's a few different ways you can look at it once it gets to that first target, or you, like you said, you could just be out.
Yeah.
Just be out. Like I learned, like the big moves. I learned that greed was playing a big part. In me not getting the most out of my trades actually, because I was being greedy and things would reverse out instead of just taking the money off the table or the majority of it off the table. So
Yeah.
no, I agree with what you're saying on that. And then I think some of the challenges that people are having, is having too many fibs on too many charts. So
Yeah.
to me, just like I said, we do it because we have people we're teaching. We have people that trade on different time frames, and we're representing all of that when we teach. But mark your top down analysis and run your fibs on one chart and stick to that chart. And watch those ABCD waves on that one chart. Maybe it's the 4 hour, maybe it's the 1 hour for you, maybe it's the 15. But just have that one mother chart where you're just watching, where you're just running your fibs and you're looking for 80-20s to the counter.
Yeah.
And you're looking for those 61/8 or deeper with the trend, and just stick to it and journal it and document it. That's what I would do.
That's a good thought too.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate that.
Yep.
So that then lends to if you miss the move, just allow it to go, right? And that's okay, right? Allow it to go, and then wait for it to get to that low price if you're looking for long opportunities. You're welcome. That's good work, Reese. That's good work. Reese found his home on the 30-minute chart. He's been doing this thing. All right. Cool deal. So those are the pounds. We got a few minutes left. You guys got anything that you guys are looking at that you want me to I'm gonna take a look at? Do drop those into the chat for me. No? Bounce back to oil real quick. Benny broke this down last night, but we're breaking this daily support level here, pressing into the 618 retracement. This is on the 4. This is on the 4, right? Pushing into that 618 retracement zone. So we'll see how deep this moves, right? And looking to see if we could get that push deeper, and we're getting it. So we'll see how deep it goes, and then see if we get an opportunity to get back long. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm patiently waiting on, is a low price on oil to get back long. And we could still move lower. Coming back to the daily time frame. Clean this up a little bit. That was a trend line break there. So looking at this more broadly, all right, that one got taken out. So coming back down to the downside, it's on a daily time frame. There's your fib on the daily, right? We did push up into the 618 retracement zone, but do think that we got more bullish action coming at some point, right? We got previous resistance here that we could come back and test, right there, right? And this whole little range here. Okay. So potentially more downside in the short term, right? And we'll look at on the 4, see 80-20 scenarios, that kind of deal. But pressing down, so looking to see how deep this retracement comes, and then if we get a low price, to then be able to get back long. Okay, so that's the daily look, coming down to the 4. All right, I'm gonna run my fibs off the low here. My bias is long on oil, right? We got a lot of fundamental things happening. Boom. Right. So here's that retracement that we just had, and price is coming back down to the downside here. So this is the zone that we're watching there, and see if we get that low price, and see if price stalls, and then get a reversal. Okay, so that's the 4 coming back down to the 1. There's your play there to the downside. We worked the 382, stalled, coming back down, right? So that zone from the 4 hour is also your sweet spot on the 1 as well. Okay, so we'll watch that as we get deeper to see if we get that opportunity and potentially catalyst. We got meetings happening this week. We got crude oil inventories happening today, right? So we got some things happening that could give us a catalyst over the next few days, and turn this over and push it back to the upside. So that's where we are on oil. Looking for that action. Okay, questions there?
Hey, Ryan, you covered the pound dollar. You went through the pounds, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. You got some particular thoughts on that?
Oh, no, I'm just looking at that 80-20 the 4 hour run to the downside. It's moving pretty good. I didn't know if we had, I thought you had covered the pound, but
Yep.
yeah, we're good.
Yep, that move there. Boom. You running the fib off the high? Or you got this?
I've got the same thing.
Okay.
Got.
Yep. All right.
Yeah. Just wasn't sure if I went over it yet, but That was moving pretty good too.
It is a strong push down. So I'm looking at this zone here, this daily support and this weekly support. What happens?
Okay.
Do we break out and push to the downside, or does that hold? So we got that box out there too. So, but it is
Okay.
that 80-20 is playing out beautifully though.
Yeah, it is. Appreciate it.
Man, no doubt. Anything else you got your eyes on, bro?
No, that's it for right now. There's a lot of those trades finally, coming through. Euro Aussie moving to the downside. We went over that last night, so just seeing some relief out of those runs that's been made over the last week or so. But it just shows you, like, no matter what, it seems like the economic conditions are, they get to these sweet spots and they start to make moves. So you just have to be, you just have to be patient and sit on your hands and not take trades unless they're in that zone. That's where the extreme discipline comes in.
Exactly it.
That's it. And just wait and use your proper risk management and trade small and build on those positions. Just good stone cold discipline, man. That's what it is.
There you have it, good people. We got any questions on anything that we covered this morning? Oh. All right. Well, we'll be back at it tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Asian session with my awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen. Until then, be patient, be patient, be patient, and have an awesome day. Peace.